Hello, world, and welcome to Marvel Rewind, the show where we take a look back at the most recent story in the MCU. And in this case, it is the season finale of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm your host, Jacob Bartley. I'm joined by Brian Avalosino and Gio Ramos. How's it going, Brian? Nice Red Sox hat, man.
Oh, thank you. I went and got it today. Finally found the kind that I wanted, and looks good if I do say so myself.
That is pretty nice, man. Brand new hat. You got to buy yourself something nice every once in a while.
Yeah, actually, I've been spending too much things on buying things that I want.
Yeah.
I went to the mall with the intentions of getting a cheap little Funko that I was trying to find, and I walked out with a $45 hat. So,
Hey, that's a nice hat. It should last you a long time.
But Gio did it just for Chuck.
Gio might disagree with the city and team on the hat. How's it going, Gio?
Good. It's funny. I'm a Yankees fan, but I'm a Boston Celtics fan. So I'm in between. Those two cities, as far as sports go, they don't like each other. But I'm just whatever. I like the team I like. Yeah, I'm excited.
At least you're not a Lakers
fan. Chuck, what is this, Chuck? You can't call him a lunatic. He's not Captain America anymore. So you guys got to adjust to your
we'll get into that
standards with U.S. Agent, okay? But we'll get to that.
If you don't back U.S. Agent, then you shouldn't back Harley either. They're both not very good people. But we will get into that stuff here. And you can't see, but a little above on this whiteboard, I have a Giants flag, San Francisco Giants flag. So who's won more World Series in the past 15 years?
You're also a Lakers fan, so
hey, we can like whatever team we want. Oh, we got to have that up, or we would have been called out. As long as we're all fans of Falcon and Winter Soldier, or should I say Captain America and the Winter Soldier?
Yes.
That was a great ending. I enjoyed that.
I didn't even notice that the first time I watched it. It flew right over my head. It's crazy. Let's get into it, man. This was a big episode here. We could talk about overall thoughts, and then you guys can just bring up whatever you want. I'll tell you, before this episode, the season was like a 7 out of 10 to me. This episode brought it to a 9.5 out of 10 for me. That's how much this episode did for this series for me.
Wow.
Ended on such a strong note. Whether you agree or disagree with some of the characters and what they're doing and what they're able to get away with and how the world is treating them, I think they're all well-written characters. That we got a whole bunch of good characters in here. Ones we knew before, ones we were introduced to in this show. So Brian, how did you feel about this episode, man?
It was great. Overall, great episode. I don't know. I may be in the minority, but I feel like we could have used one more episode.
Oh,
maybe.
I agree with you. I think 6 episodes is way too short. I mean, even because they're not even all 45 minutes long, right? They're all if you cut out the credits, it's 38 minutes, around that range.
Yeah, I just feel like the ending was great. This whole episode wrapped it in a bow. I just feel like we could have gotten a little bit more story with some of the stuff that happened in this specific episode. I think it could have 7 would have been stuff like that. We could have dived into that a little bit more. We could have finished off Bucky's redemption story, tied that a little bit.
Oh yeah, they didn't spend much time on that at all.
Yeah, we could have wrapped that one up a little bit. I would have liked to see just maybe a little bit more Isaiah Bradley. Not much, but I feel like you could have gotten another little bit out of it. Overall, fantastic episode. A perfect little bow on a present. I just think that I need one more. Maybe one more episode would have been a perfect amount for me.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded that.
So
I think this episode, I think the series struggled from that, but this episode as just what it was, I just really loved the episode. If you're just looking at it individually. And we'll get into more stuff. They kind of wrapped up a whole bunch of storylines in like 2 minutes.
A lot of stories.
And like in the last couple minutes, but we'll get to that. So Gio, how do you feel about this episode as a whole, man? How did it wrap up the series for you?
I thought it did a great job, honestly. Man, this episode, like, definitely, if anybody was concerned or like hesitant about Sam Wilson being Captain America, this episode definitely delivered on that. I am sold. I am all in on Sam Wilson as Captain America. I am so happy that they're developing Captain America 4. That is exciting. I would agree with Brian if they didn't. I would normally agree with Brian if they didn't continue this. I wish I would have gotten more, but the way it ended, it clearly sets up more storylines going forward and more time to flesh out these characters, where they've been, what they've been up to, how do they get to where they are, what do they plan to do next. I was a little bit overreactionary after watching this episode because I was like, man, this is like top 2 episodes that Disney Plus has ever produced. I mean, it's up there with the Ahsoka episode in Mandalorian and that final episode of the first season of Mandalorian. But I need to pause, give it time. I'm going to watch it again. But let me just say, it was great stuff. A lot of emotional impact, action. We'll get into it.
Yeah,
so you've watched it twice, and you've watched how many times?
Yeah,
just the once.
Just once.
Okay, I've only watched it once too.
Yeah, the second time I kind of skimmed through it while I was like listening to some reviews and stuff. But yeah, I want to go. I want to go watch it again. Like I'm kind of being pulled towards it. Like if I had more time today, I would, and I'm definitely going to revisit it. But yeah, I just think overall the thing, and somebody, I think Chuck said in the chat, handled the important issues well, the series overall, but especially this episode, and meaning as far as like commenting on social stuff, but also just what are important in the MCU as well. They handled delivering Sam Wilson as Captain America. They absolutely 100% killed it. And if you don't do that right, then this episode kind of goes off the rails. Yeah. I remember you guys were teasing me about the suit last time, and I never looked it up, and I was just like wasn't thinking about it when the episode first started, and right away, boom, action scene with the suit.
Oh, you mean a little bit of this?
Yes,
awesome.
Dude. It looks incredible.
A little bit of this, that.
Before, if I was a henchman and one of the villains' henchmen, and Falcon shows up, and I didn't know who he was, I'd be like, "Oh, we could take this guy." But now in that suit, I'd be like, "Oh hell no, we need to get out of here!" Like, it's
the wings.
He looks so intimidating.
So good with the suit. The wings look so good with the suit. The color scheme. Oh, that's not a bright enough picture. The color scheme.
Oh yeah.
With it just looks so cool. It's so freaking cool. And it just looks like it's just taken from the comic books. It literally looks like
that is one of the most comic accurate suits.
It looks like it is ripped straight off the page and put it into the real world. It's amazing.
Yeah, they didn't change it much. They didn't change it much at all. So Brian, what do you want to talk about in this episode? Like what is one main thing you want to talk about the most? And there's a ton of good stuff.
Well, I have one main thing, but I'm not going to start with this first. My main thing is that post-credit scene. But
yeah, we'll cover that at the end. So I basically brought up the costume. Gio, if you had any thoughts on the costume, you can still talk about that.
About costume more.
But Brian, what stood out to you though, other than the credit scene?
Okay, the one thing that kind of bummed me out was the death of Carly. I love that actress is just so good, and I was hoping that she could maybe stay around and be an antagonist somewhere else along the line. But I mean, Sharon took her out. Flat out. She took her out. The thing that made me kind of go, okay, that's kind of dumb though, was the fact that Zemo shot her with 1 bullet and she was totally chill. And then once Sharon shoots her with 2 bullets, she's done for. So I was kind of like, so.
Well, I think I would. No. I would say, well, I don't know. Zemo's capable of a lot more than we think, but I would say Agent Carter is like a trained marksman. She knows exactly where to shoot a shot that would kill somebody. Yeah. Maybe if you could see, Zemo was just randomly shooting. He wasn't like aiming at anything. I guarantee you, she actually aimed for an artery or something that she knew.
3 bullets. Her. Okay, 3. That's a lot. She's not 50 Cent. She ain't gonna take 9 bullets.
And that's another thing to me is like, yeah, they have the super soldier serum, but they know they can't survive gunshots, like multiple gunshots.
Yeah, it's funny because it was very much a triangle of holding guns. Oh no!
Hey,
it landed
I did that on purpose.
Because not only did Carly get taken out, Batroc got taken out too. So. Yeah, they took out 2 characters at one time. So
I mean,
I don't know.
I heard people saying that they think Carly's not dead because they took her to the medical thing and they never like put a blanket over her or nothing, you know?
Yeah.
So that means she's alive.
But Sam did say she died for you.
Yeah, exactly.
She died fighting you. Yeah. Okay.
I was thinking the exact same thing. The fact that he carried her, took her to the medic, put her on the gurney. If it wasn't for the fact that he specifically was like, she died thinking then I would be like,
yeah. And I'm sure he was carrying her, so he knows she's dead. Yeah.
So other than that, I'm kind of bummed to see her story end in a way. Granted, she wasn't going to turn into a super villain or anything. She was not made for that type of thing. It's just a bummer because I think she's a great actress so far. I mean, what more are you going to do with Batroc at the same time? Like the guy comes in, punches a few times and then leaves.
You could always bring him back for anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if he's not dead either. I never believe they're dead.
Yeah.
In the MCU.
Who knows? But
look, I didn't want Carly to die, but I wasn't rooting for her either. I like the actress, but I think the character could have been better, to be honest. She was kind of like, she was killing people, and she says she does it for the cause or whatever because they're against her cause. Yeah. And even her own team members didn't want to kill innocent people, and she was like doing it on her own. And I'm like, that's crazy. And trust me, I'm not letting John Walker get away with stuff either. I don't think Agent Carter should get away with the stuff that she's doing either, but
I'll get to that.
There's a whole bunch of things that we could talk about. Gio, did you have any thoughts on Carly and her death, and did it affect you at all?
Not really. I haven't been the biggest Carly fan or the fan of the Flag Smashers throughout this whole entire series. I will say I liked her a little bit more in this episode. But, you could tell just by the way her followers, her main inner circle was not responding to her. What does she say? One world, one people.
Yeah, one world, one people.
Yeah, it took a couple times for her to say that before they repeated it. And you could see that, as much as people say John Walker's going off the rails, she's going off the rails even more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, killing people, and to the point where even her own people are starting to like not believe in her. And actress is great. Not saying she isn't great. She definitely delivers, but I was just like, I'm over them. Okay. I would have wanted to see more of Zemo in this series. I think they spent too much time with the Flag Smashers. But that's just my opinion. So, hey.
Yeah. So Gio, what is maybe that we haven't talked about yet, one of the main things that stood out to you?
It's not a main thing, but when Sam makes his appearance as Captain America, his first appearance, which by the way was great. One of the senators people were like, "Wait a minute, I thought Captain America was on the moon."
Oh, I think it was the security guard or something.
Yeah.
The head
And I was
security
like,
guard.
"Oh, wait, our first hint at where is Captain America?" Throughout this whole series, we've been told he's not with us anymore. He's not with us. They never said he was dead. I don't believe, right? I never caught the words "Cap is dead."
Yeah, we don't know where he is, if he went back. Like, we don't know if him and Peggy were in a different timeline or what. That's never been confirmed.
Could he be with Sword?
Possibly. I mean, who knows? I mean, they did actually mention the joke about him being on the moon in the first or second episode. Torres said it. So it's like a rumor. So maybe he really is up there. Like, honestly, who knows?
Yeah.
He ain't up on the moon. Get out of here.
No. But so was that what stood out to you, the first appearance of Sam, or?
Well, no. I mean, come on now, U.S. agent. Okay, like showing
Let's
back
talk about
up.
him.
I left that for you.
Say what?
I said I left that for you because I knew you wanted to get to it. This guy.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Hell yeah. He's like, if
Give
Captain
me
America
a
is Sonic,
Funko.
this is Shadow right here. Okay. And
Give
he's
me a
all
Funko
about
of
getting
that
things
now.
done. Say what?
I said, give me a Funko of that now.
Yes, that's what I was thinking when this episode started. If there is a Funko of U.S. agent, he's joining General Zod and Superman right there. So
Yeah, he'd
I am
probably
all
go
for it.
somewhere
But
around
I loved. Okay, look, he's not entirely evil or bad. Okay, there's a moment where he wants to go after Carly, but he sees the armored truck with the senators, the Congress people in it, and he's like trying to fight the serum, and there's still
I
some
love
good left
that
in him.
moment where
He
decides
actually
to lift the truck
tries
up.
to do that, and I just thought, man, like, what a great character, making him an anti-hero, showing the conflict. He's not just somebody who just the serum immediately takes over and he's one way no matter what the whole time. I hate those kind of villains or anti-heroes. This guy, I want to see more of him, whether he shows up in Captain America 4 or in whatever, if he gets his own spinoff, that would be great.
I'm telling
you.
I'm telling you, he's going to be that guy that everyone goes, oh, son of a bitch, why is this guy here? That, I'm telling you, that's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, you've been saying that since the beginning.
Yes, I hope he's that person that just you're just like, oh my God, why is he here? But I'm agreeing with you, Gio. I love this character. I love it.
And you know what? Like, it just, hopefully he gets. Do you guys think he's going to get a better shield? Because the shield that we saw last episode was left on a cliffhanger, like when the post credits shows him making a shield, but that shield gets easily destroyed. It does serve
Carly
a purpose.
Kicks it.
Yeah, it does serve a purpose where he looks at the medals and he just, he finds that fight in him. I love
that they're on the inside. That's awesome.
I love what he said to Carly. Carly was like, I didn't mean to kill your friend, but he didn't serve a purpose or something. And that pissed him off. He was just like, wait a minute. He didn't say battle.
He's like, I don't want to kill people that don't matter.
Yeah.
And then he's like, you think Lamar's life didn't matter?
Like,
yeah.
Say what you will about U.S. agent, but in that moment, you're just like, oh no, you need to teach this young lady some manners. Okay, you need to put her in her place, put her in check. She killing people left and right, not giving it a second thought. It's just, man, that's why it's just like that character bothers me so much. Like, she's a great actress and she did her job by getting me, feeling some type of way. But man, I love what they've done with U.S. Agent. I can't wait to see more of it.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. I do think that he should have probably been further punished for what he did, because he killed a man in cold blood. Obviously, this guy had his hands up. He was laying on the ground. He wasn't in battle with him. The guy was running away and he killed him. So he should be, I think there needs to be some more punishment for that, what he did, because it was all caught on camera.
He lost all his benefits.
Yeah, I know,
bro.
but he shouldn't
lost
just
everything.
So they haven't been clear with us. So I'm just gonna call her Madam Hydra, but she
just call her
Val, she works for the U.S. government, right? But she,
we don't know.
I'm asking Brian basically because they haven't really said. Yeah, in the show, we don't really know, right?
In the character, in the in the show, we know nothing. I mean, her business card.
I think it's implied that she kind of this is how I take it. I take it that she works for the U.S. government, but she's like, they don't know that she has other goals and intentions and things like that. And she's kind of like those Hydra agents that were undercover as SHIELD agents like that. And then she runs like a different part of the government that does like secretive stuff, right? Like what Russia was doing with the Winter Soldier and things like that. So that's how I took it. And US agent is going to be her, pawn that she can use, or one of them. That's how I kind of took it.
Independent benefactor,
or possibly, because then
I think she's just doing her own thing. In the comics, she's a SHIELD agent that goes rogue and kind of just jumps into Hydra, and she always is back and forth love affair with Nick Fury. I think she's going to just be her own thing moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't really
might have old connections. Maybe she was an ex-government something or an ex-SHIELD.
She still has contacts and,
that
in dark places.
But it seems like she has some type of authority where she's putting John Walker into this role that maybe not the public knows about, but that the government or people know about,
I think she is just going to basically try to make this fake propaganda type image of this person, and kind of very much similar to historic things where it's like, look at how great this person is. He's doing such good things and he's helping change the world, when really it's for nefarious reasons. And I think that's essentially what her character is going to break down to. Because she's like, you're not Captain America, you're a U.S. agent.
Yeah, no, I liked everything. Well, basically, I was just saying that, like, and I think they left the John Walker thing open, like, oh, he's like on purpose, obviously.
Oh, absolutely.
Other than like, okay, maybe he could have been more punished for what he did. Other than that, like, I think they handled this character beautifully. I really like what they did. He was one of the characters I cared most about when it came down to that final battle. And it's like, I was like, ooh, what is John Walker going to do? Like, I was so invested in what his character was doing. So that shows me that I really cared about it. And I'm
with Gio on this one, though. I'm against you on this one. I think what he did, yes, he killed another person, but he was stripped of everything that made him who he was.
And everything like that, which, I think it's up for debate, but he's still like, I'm wondering though, do they know he's operating as U.S. agent? Obviously they knew he was there in the end, because I
think he's going to be introduced as a shiny new toy type situation where it's like, look at this guy. He's awesome. U.S. agent.
Kind of like Iron Patriot in a way, and how they tried to turn War Machine into that. Yeah. Not exactly the same, but similar.
But it's crazy. Like, did you think when the middle of this series that at the end we'd see them like basically working together and Sam giving him that head nod, like, we're cool. I didn't think we'd get there, to be honest, which is cool. No, and I like it though.
Yeah.
I'm glad, because the whole time John Walker has been trying to help, but they're painting him out to be the bad guy. I mean, going back to his first episode appearance, he shows up when they're getting their asses kicked on the truck, and he gets his ass kicked too, but it's like he legitimately wants to help. He has his own way of doing things. It's not exactly the clean cut way of doing it, but it will get the job done, and that seems to be the way this universe is headed as far as this corner of the MCU. You have Sharon Carter, who is making it seem like she's so glad to be back home, but you saw what happened at the end. She's on the phone like, okay, we're in this. We're going to do this our way because we learned our lesson the first time. They clearly don't give a shit about us. They might say this and that and applaud, parades, posters, and all that. But when it comes down to it, they don't care.
Do we want to dive into that right now?
About Sharon?
Mhm.
Yeah, sure. Why not? So we could talk about that scene where we find out she's the power broker. I mean, Brian's been saying it since episode 2 or 3. So let's talk about it, man.
Not only did I call it, just saying. I mean, she was an art broker, for God's sakes. Here's my next bomb. Ready? She's a scroll. A scroll that is infiltrating and now has access to all the things she said at the end of the episode.
Brian, I love you, buddy. That is genius. I didn't even think about that. It's genius for me. Screw you guys, okay? All right, I don't think about that kind of stuff. But man, what a setup for Secret Invasion.
Right?
Damn.
Right.
So yeah, it goes to this question right here that Samir has. What happened to the real Sharon? Is she on the moon?
I don't know. But can you imagine?
I mean, if they infiltrate, if they take over somebody's life, they have to make sure that person's not around. I'm not saying they killed her, but she might be like in a cell somewhere. But a few weeks ago, I said that jokingly, and everybody was just like, "Oh, no way!" But I wasn't actually predicting it. I was just like, Brian's favorite theory: she's a scroll, and then everybody was like, "No."
So okay, wait, Chuck. So why don't you want her to be a scroll? Get used to it. People are going to now be not who they say they are for the next little bit.
Well, and that's the thing, because if this really is Sharon, it changes the character severely, and you could actually understand why she would go down this path, because she kind of got wronged by Cap and the Avengers and getting caught on the wrong side of that. But then if it's not Sharon, then it's just a whole other different thing. So let's say if this is Sharon, how are you guys feeling about her? Like, are you disappointed in her? Are you mad at her? Do you like what she's doing?
I thought the reveal was just something that they just wanted to squeeze in there. I was expecting a little bit more like the power broker, this and that, but they just kind of subtly mention it like, "Oh, yeah, you're the power broker." Yeah, I am. So what? Gun in your face. It's just, I don't know. I was expecting the reveal to be a bit more because they've teased it. Again, with these teases throughout the series, and then they just, "Oh, here it is. Take it, do with it what you will." So, but that's not to say that what they've done with Sharon Carter so far in this series isn't much more interesting than just her being, who she's been throughout, her time pre-snap or, since the last time we saw her. And like I said, that setup is crazy. And now my brain is going different places, all thanks to Brian. Man. So.
It's funny because like I know a lot of people immediately went to, no, not a Carter. A Carter can't be a bad guy. Like, I mean, I don't even think they've ever once, like in comics, like faked a Carter being a bad guy or something. Like, it's not something that happens. So if it is the case where they're just
Agent 13 has been like a double agent in the comics before, and she's been brainwashed and stuff, but not where it was like, I don't know. I haven't read it all. So.
I'm kind of okay with both routes because it's something different. Like, you had this tried and true American agent type, SHIELD agent, close to Steve, all this that gets scorned and is pissed off and goes bad. Yeah. I mean, that happens in the real world. Like, people get scorned, they get mad, and they do bad things. So if that's the case, great. However, the scroll theory ain't that bad of a route for me either. Like,
yeah, I mean,
I'm fine either way.
I wasn't thinking about that, but now that you say it, it would make sense.
It would be kind of dope. Like, I don't know. I'm okay taking either path. I think right now I would really think that the scroll thing would be kind of cool because she's not a big enough character. Like if Iron Man all of a sudden turned out to be a scroll, like people would be like, "What the hell?"
It wouldn't
like
make sense. Yeah.
like, and it would upset people. She's a character that we're getting to know a little bit, kind of like, oh, okay, we don't know how to trust you. All in all, ends up being a scroll. I think it'd be kind of dope. Either way,
that makes sense because they have to take a character that matters and place them into, Secret Invasion and all this stuff coming up. And I think we're going to get some overlap with like Armor Wars and Secret Invasion. I think they're all going to connect somehow. So I think it makes sense for her because you can't do it even if you did it with Hawkeye, it would be like, wait, really? So when was he a scroll? Like when he was talking to his wife? Like, no. But with Carter, it makes sense. I can't think of like something that you could argue that would say, and it would have to be she became a scroll sometime after Civil War, obviously.
Yeah, at some point it leaves it up in that space, a large gap that you could give a good enough reason. It's not just, oh, she became a scroll. Like there's years that you could give a reason for that. So I don't know. I've been thinking about it for a while. I'm fine either way if she's just true and true bad, or if she's a scroll. Either way, I think it's going to be very interesting going forward, and I'm excited because that makes that character more interesting than just being kind of just like a B character agent.
Well, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, okay, if they just kept her the same way, like she's like a loyal agent to the US government, whatever, and she just continues to be a hero. That's cool, but it's kind of boring. They're doing something interesting with her where you're like, whoa, now suddenly Sharon Carter is like a big player. Whatever happens with this character is important,
Absolutely.
So I like that. There's a ton of cool stuff that happens. Like basically the climax of this episode happens in the middle near the middle. Cause after the big fight, there was a lot of time left because they had to wrap up some stuff. And we get, I really liked the Batroc and Sam fight, the Captain America and Batroc fight. It was amazing because first of all, Batroc is a badass because he has no technology or armor or anything. And he's going up against Sam, who's a very good fighter on his own. And he has the armor. And I'm like, damn, Batroc is one formidable fighter. Like, if you don't have super soldier serum, like he's a pretty formidable fighter. And I loved when he kicked the chair and then it hit the shield. Cause like you think, oh, you could just hit him with the shield, but he anticipated that, which was pretty cool. Did you guys like that fight?
Yeah, I liked it. Samir, I would think he's dead. Just my opinion.
And we're talking about Batroc, right?
Batroc, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they had to kill him, but I guess whatever,
Yeah, I mean,
she was getting rid of anybody who could out her as the power broker.
I think that was more of the reasoning behind anything.
Exactly, yeah.
You might know this. Okay, goodbye. But yeah, no, Batroc was dope. He was a good little B character villain. He definitely brought action that was needed for something like this because Carly was a lot of talking, whereas he is a lot of action.
And he was pissed about the first episode when Sam cost him that money. So
he wasn't there to talk ever. He was there to whoop some ass, and it got taken out by just getting shot. It's like that Indiana Jones where the guy's like ready to fight him and then he just takes out his gun and shoots him and just walks away. That's what it kind of reminds me of. But the Sam and him fight scene, dude, I love when Sam's like attacks with the jetpack.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Like if he's dodging, he'll use the jetpack, or if he lunges at him, give him an extra punch. I love it. And that fight, those two fighting was pretty good throughout the whole entire show.
And then of course, all the stuff with the helicopter was awesome. I thought that was pretty clever, like identifying the pilot. And I don't think they actually would have made it out of that, but they obviously.
I like when he flew through it.
Yeah,
just grabs it. That was cool.
And then at the end of the action scene, of course, there's a bunch of reporters around. And Gio, I heard you playing it before we started the podcast. This Sam Wilson speech, man, I'll just say I was laying on the couch watching it. I had chills all over my body. Like I was just in awe when he was giving this speech. Gio, how did you feel when you saw this, man?
It's great stuff, great ideas. You wish stuff like this would kind of happen in the real world. I thought it went on a little too long. It's just, I don't know. If only these kind of things were easy in the real world, you know. And I guess you just, it's finding a way to suspend disbelief. Okay, I just the whole thing with, you know, okay, they're there, they're talking. There happens to be cameras around. Everyone, like, there's no perimeter set up. It's just everyone's there, and it's just, it paid off great. Like, I did like that Isaiah Simmons was watching and, like, you know, nodding and just like, wow, like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to have a little bit more faith, you know. But it's just, it didn't work too well. I appreciated it. I did have some chills, like Jacob, but it's just, I don't know, kind of went on a little bit long. So
it is long, but for me, it's like everything that he said was important. So it's like, what are you cut out? And I was like, damn, he's talking for a long time. But then when he kept going, I was like, oh my God, everything he's saying is just so captivating, and it's important. And yeah, it's in a world with superheroes, and they're using super soldiers and stuff as kind of like, you know, metaphors for other things. So it was pretty impactful for me. Like, there's a few things that just made this episode very special, and the Sam speech is one of them. Brian, did you like this moment?
Yeah. I can see where Gio's coming from with the length of it. I mean, everything he said was important. It wasn't things that was just, he was just saying for saying. It did kind of like seem like it was just like it kept going and going and going. But the speech was fantastic. Everything, I mean, whoever sat there and wrote that from their heart. And you could tell. It wasn't just something written to be written for a TV show. That was passion that was on the page and got delivered by Anthony Mackie in the episode.
His delivery was excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. And I think it's something that probably people will look back on, because, I mean, that is, to me, his first official Captain America thing that he does. Like, for the public.
You could argue that's when he became Captain America, was during that.
Because he's standing up to these corrupt officials, if you will, and basically putting them in their place. Very much this what a Captain America does. Whoever is under the I was going to say the cape, but the costume,
the mantle,
the shield.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoever's wielding the shield.
Yeah, so it was a great scene. But yeah, I think that, like I said, that was the I'm here of Sam Wilson's Captain America. Not the action, not the saving people. Anyone could do that in this world. It's when he said those things and stood up to those officials in front of the world.
Like, think about his story. We meet him in Winter Soldier, and he's a counselor for war veterans. And like he's taking that skill set and applying it to being Captain America, because he knows how to talk and speak to people and talk about issues. So it's actually working out very well. And Anthony Mackie, I mean, there's so many good performances in this show, but Anthony Mackie killed it in that scene. Like, props to him. He came so far from being Papa Doc in 8 Mile when he was battle rapping with Eminem. That I still can't believe that was him when I was a kid watching that movie. And now he's Captain America. So he came a far, far way.
To what Chuck said, yes, it
Yeah.
And that's going to roll into Captain America 4 because they're keeping those same people. So
that's awesome.
Get used to it because it's going to be good.
I didn't see that. They announced Captain America 4 is in the works. And is the director of the series directing the movie? Or they didn't say?
I think the writer is writing.
The showrunner of Falcon and Winter Soldier is kind of helming the project. He's not directing, but
that makes sense. They'll probably bring in somebody. That makes sense. A few key things happen to end the episode. We see those super soldiers get in the truck and it blows up, and it's Zemo's butler, and of course Zemo gets one more little jab in there. He takes out all the super soldiers except obviously Bucky and John Walker. That was pretty funny to me when you see, not funny that they died, but funny when you see Zemo smile.
I love the fact that man has one mission in life, and it is to take them out. And any chance he gets, he leaves no stone unturned and kills them. That's all he has done from the second he showed up in Civil War, is take out super soldiers. And that is what he has continued to do. That's his mission. That's his beliefs. And the only two that are left alive are the two that he... Well, I don't know.
I think he would like to kill John Walker if he could.
Yeah, I was gonna say the two that he respects, but I don't think he respects John Walker. I don't think he really.
John Walker will whoop that ass.
But yeah, I love it. I love that Zemo, because I originally was like, oh, I forgot about the butler. I was like, that's weird. Whose old guy just killed those people? And then they show the raft, and I'm just like, oh my God, this guy will do anything to kill the super soldiers, and I love it.
Well, it shows that he can operate out in the world without actually being there,
Yeah. So and I love the raft. The raft looks so good. It looks so much like the comic one.
To me, another thing that makes this episode special, and again, they wrapped up so much in the last 20 minutes, but it's the Sam visiting Isaiah Bradley. And
when he knocks at the door and he goes, "Sup, Black Falcon," and he's like, I just
need to learn more manners.
Yeah, I love it. That made me laugh so hard.
So when they talk a lot in these scenes, but when he shows him the thing at the memorial, I almost wanted to cry. Like, that was so amazing that they did that.
That was just like they left nothing undone in this story. Like,
yeah,
they weren't just gonna be like, Isaiah Bradley's just bitter and says there's never going to be a Black Captain America, and then he proves them wrong. No, they were taking that man's story full circle, and like that part was so good. Just seeing him staring at his little part of the exhibit, and yeah, that was good. That actor that plays him too is
so good. Yeah, there's a few moments in this episode that could be the moment of the episode. To me, this might be the winner. Gio, did you like the scene?
Absolutely. Just Sam Wilson, he not only proved Isaiah wrong, he went out of his way to do something that I feel like is a very Captain America thing. He used his power, his influence, to finally get people, exhibits, museums, to have them bring awareness to what Isaiah Simmons' contributions are to the history of the United States. It reminds me of real life stories, in particular, Katherine Johnson, and how her story came to mainstream with Hidden Figures, that movie 2016 or 17. And it's stories like those that, give the right people the recognition that they deserve, brings awareness, and it was so beautiful to watch. Yes, Samir, I did like it. In fact, I hope Isaiah Simmons shows up in Captain America 4.
Isaiah Bradley?
Sorry, Isaiah Bradley. I'm thinking of the Madden football player, but yeah.
I don't think this is going to be the last time we see him because of his grandson, who is Patriot. That boy that says, "What's up, Black Falcon?" That's a young Avenger.
Really?
So yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, that's a young Avenger. That. His name's Patriot.
Yeah, he becomes that later on. Like,
yeah, he's like another version of Captain America. He's not so much like, I don't know how to describe it. He's basically Captain America, but not Captain America. Like, that's kind of how. So I would love.
He's like another U.S. agent type character. Like, yeah, not personality wise. I'm just saying like a secondary of Captain America, like a different type of Captain America.
Yeah. So I mean, I would love to see that story build, that Patriot. Yes, that's what it is, Chuck. He gets serum, the super soldier serum, because of
that would make sense.
He got like shot or something, and Isaiah performed.
I was going to say, like, is it genetic or how does it happen? Yeah. But that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah. No, all this stuff with Isaiah and his grandson.
And now I want to see that. Good.
Right?
Not him get shot, but like, the.
Yeah, but how powerful would that be?
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah,
they could. I mean, they're setting up the pieces to where if they wanted to do a Young Avengers series or something, they totally could.
Yeah, the Young Avengers. If it isn't clear that it's coming, then you need either a new pair of glasses or you're just blind, because they're literally like in your face with like every Young Avenger that they could find. Like, it's coming.
Yeah. So we haven't talked about Bucky much. I mean, he's kind of takes a backseat to Sam later in this series, and especially in this episode. But I do like the Bucky character and where he went. He accomplished all the names in his book. He finished that, left it for the therapist, and then I think I like the storyline with the old man and how he killed his son and he wants to make up for that. But I think the scene could have been better, and they could have spent at least like 30 more seconds, 60 more seconds in that room and have Bucky explain. I'm sure what we saw wasn't all they talked about. I'm sure that he was like, look, I was brainwashed and all this stuff, but I thought the scene could have been handled better. But I love Bucky, big fan of him, and I can't wait to see where he goes forward with this.
That scene kind of left me confused, because like when he looks like he's devastated, kind of like gonna be super upset, maybe yell at him or something, and then the next second we see
they just cut away him walking out, and that's the thing, time issue. They could have. I want to see how he reacted.
Yeah. He literally, the next thing we see, he's chilling at the bar, drinking with the girl he was going on a date with, and they look like they're okay.
I just think,
like, I was kind of confused.
Bucky. So I think Bucky just had to tell him, and that's all he wanted to know, was for this old man to know what happened to his son, and now he knows. So he can just go on with his life knowing what happened. I don't think he ever was gonna forgive Bucky. Like, that's too. How do you forgive somebody who tells you right away that they did that?
Yeah, you give some closure.
It gives him closure. And so, Gio, do you think they handled this scene good, or could they have handled it a little bit better?
Yeah, I mean, it goes into the argument that, some of the things felt a little bit rushed toward the end. Like, okay, let's wrap it up real quick. Okay, we're running out of money. But
this was literally when COVID started, this episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
when they were, they weren't done shooting. They were like,
they were this episode was around what they were filming when it got.
But they spent a lot of money on special effects in this episode.
Exactly. So. Yeah. And that's kind of why I think I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's okay.
And I was going to say, I think that this is kind of one of those where I was like, you probably were aiming for 8, stopped, said, okay, we've got enough for 6. We'll just like make sure we have everything.
Mhm.
When at the end you could have had that extra episode, maybe make it a half hour or something. But yeah, go ahead, Gio. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, but what I was getting to was something Chuck said earlier. The most important thing we learned: Bucky is invited to the cookout, and welcome back for more.
I love that scene.
You know what's funny? My next line in my note says New Orleans cookout. That's what it says. So that was
that
fun.
scene was so good. Just happy people, just like almost a normal life in this world of gods and creatures. What is it? Aliens, androids, and wizards.
Yeah.
So,
well, they for this chapter in their life, they're at peace. Bucky handled his stuff. He made up for all he did, and he can hopefully forgive himself and try to be a hero going forward. Sam embraced the Captain America role. Steve chose him. Like the only person who can assign a new Captain America is Steve Rogers, Captain America. Yeah. So now, so in a way, I mean, and we understand why Sam turned away the shield at first, but he finally embraced it and realized it. And I just think that moment of them smiling together, patting each other's back is just like happiness. And obviously they're going to face other hardships in the future, but for now they're good.
Yeah. What do you think, Gio?
I don't want that back and forth banter to go away though. Now that things are,
I completely
agree. It will.
I think it'll be very much more smart ass than it is like an underlying tone of like, I don't like you. I think it's just
it'll be more like making fun of each other.
Yeah.
Than like
oh, great job. Like that type of thing. Like, oh, I thought you could do that with your big old wings. Like that type of like snide.
Or like don't hit on my sister.
Yeah, like that stuff.
They had a moment.
Yeah, who knows?
How's Bucky gonna smile at somebody like that? He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, so I will say the one thing that it was cool, but also kind of was like for me was when we saw the therapist get the booklet of crossed off names. Part of me was like, why did Bucky give away his like only piece of Steve?
I know, right? I didn't even think of that until now.
That was Steve's notebook that he wrote the stuff in, and I was kind of like, I mean, is it that big of a deal? No, but I'm just like, I was like, that was Steve's.
Maybe
notebook.
It was him like moving on.
I think it might have been just him. Yes, him letting go.
Chapter.
Yeah, it was more of a closure type thing, and maybe he's not like idolizing Steve as much, like kind of like how Steve was his everything essentially. I was just like, oh, the Notebook. But
yeah. I hope he goes back and gets it.
I need to go back and screenshot those names though, and just see if I recognize anyone.
Oh yeah, Red Wing came back.
There were 2 of them, Red Wings.
They like broke off each other, yeah. And that was pretty cool. So we get the end title, Captain America and the Winter Soldier. Gio, did you think that was cool or what?
I thought it was fitting. And then literally 5 minutes after I finished watching the episode, because I caught it late, like around 1 o'clock, 1:30, there's the news about Captain America 4. And I'm just like, wow. It's like Marvel knows what their fans want. They listen to their fans and they deliver. They don't play games. They don't do any of this. Let's cut the movies short and never mind. They listen
like
to the
Universal
fans and it's great.
Right? Yeah.
I think honestly, the thing that I've just come to learn is Feige cares so much about these characters. Like each character means so much to him.
Even the small side characters.
Exactly. Like, I mean, we got all these cool, amazing stories from people that spent years of their lives, decades of their lives, creating these characters, creating these stories, and every single time we get something, it's like he's taking such care of those people's property, essentially.
Mhm.
Like, I mean,
He treats it with care, like
yes,
very much.
and we're getting, and it's not just him; it's the people they're hiring to create these properties.
The writers,
The writers. I mean, they're finding people that are they want to tell a meaningful story, and the people that I mean, look at how WandaVision was. WandaVision was the story of like stages of grief. Okay, this one, the real struggles of people of color in America. I mean, that was a huge point of this whole entire story. Arguably, kind of almost the main part. And it's just it's really cool seeing it go forward. I'm very curious to see how Loki plays into this. Samir, trust the process. But yeah, right, Chuck. Can you imagine when that comes, if and when that comes? Just who knows? Who knows what goes through that man's brain? But yeah, it's incredible.
Yeah, it was a beautiful ending. I thought, like I'm telling you guys, this episode really elevated the whole series for me. It's crazy.
It'll come, Gio. It'll come one day. Think positive.
What?
Universal's Dark Universe. That's what you're talking about, right, Gio? How they messed that up. Real quick, the after credits scene.
You will get whatever you are hoping for. It will come to you at some point.
Yes, the after credit scene, Brian. So, you're obviously most invested in this. What happens with Sharon Carter? Have some theories. Yeah. So, what do you think about it, man?
Scroll. I mean, we've kind of hit it.
No, now it makes sense because I'm like, that is not. I still don't believe Sharon Carter would go down this road. I still don't. So the scroll thing makes sense.
Yeah, and that's
like she wouldn't kill innocent people. Like, so remember earlier in the episode when she like walks by that worker, and then you see him in the truck and his skin's all disintegrated and stuff, like disintegrating. I'm like, wait a minute, she just straight up murdered that guy. Like Sharon Carter would not do that. So it makes sense, Brian. It does.
I don't know. Either way, I'm very curious to see where they go with her moving forward. They made me care a lot more about a character that didn't really do anything. I mean, she was in Civil War and that's it. So it now has made me invested in that character. I want to see where it goes. And that's all I can ask for, really.
Yeah. Gio, did you like the after credit scene?
Oh, yeah. Hell of an acting job, by the way. What's her name who plays
Emily Van Camp?
Emily Van Camp. Good job. She had me convinced until it turned around. She's walking and the camera decided to stay on her. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Something. Oh, wait a minute. She gave a little smirk. Damn it.
It's like you really got to get on the phone right after you walk out of the building. Like you can't wait a little bit. They got super surveillance cameras and stuff around.
She's a power broker. She got pull.
Yeah, I thought it was cool. Places. It made sense because when I was like, what is the after credit scene going to be? And I was like going like this. And then I see Sharon Carter in the after credits. You know how they show the images? And I was like, oh, it's got to be about Sharon because we didn't really see what happened with her. So it was cool. And I'm excited to see where that goes. If you guys don't have any last thoughts, I think that'll do it for today.
No, I mean, great series. Excited to see what Loki brings. But yeah, very excited. Our next Friday thing will be Bad Batch now.
Absolutely. I was going to bring that up. Star Wars. We talked about the season finale today. We're going to talk about the full series and spoiler discussion on the next episode of Apocaflix Now, which will be on Tuesday, where we will also be doing a full spoiler discussion of Mortal Kombat, which we're about to go see here in a movie theater in a couple of hours, private theater with us friends that we trust. I'm very excited about it. I'll speak for myself. And shout out to Jake and Keith. They couldn't be here today, but they'll be there to watch the movie with us tonight. And I know we said we were going to put up a reaction, but we kind of decided not to do it last night because we were all just busy yesterday, and it was rough to stay up till midnight and do all that. So no reaction to the episode. But yes, look out for us on Tuesday. Mortal Kombat, full spoiler discussion. Falcon Winter Soldier, full season, full spoiler discussion. We're hoping to have Keith on there with us so we can get his thoughts. Of course, Jake will be there as well. And like Brian said, Fridays aren't going away. Brian, when is the premiere date of Bad Batch?
Oh, don't drop bombs
on me. Sorry, like I thought you knew. Sorry, I thought you knew. So the Bad Batch, the Star Wars animated Clone Wars spinoff, we're going to be doing the Fandalorian Club.
May 4th, obviously.
The Fandalorian Club. So in a couple weeks here. So we'll be doing that on Fridays. And then on June 11th, I knew that date, Loki premieres. So Marvel Rewind will be back in June. Thank you all for joining us. We really appreciate it. And for Gio, for Brian, and Jacob, we'll see you guys next time.